It is never fun making a video after a Patriots loss. Never is and never will be. But I will tell you this, there was multiple silver linings in the game yesterday that we are going to jump into as well on the end of this episode. We're going to jump into what needs to be fixed, what needs to be worked on, what needs to be developed, a lot of different things that we need to dive into from this game against the Las Vegas Raiders, because we all know it was a winnable game. And there's going to be a lot of stats I'm going to throw at you that you're going to say, wow, I guess I didn't realize that. But man, I think there's a lot of room for improvement. And if we can do that, we can turn games like this into big fat W's. So let's jump into it. My name is Aaron on the Daily Patriots content. Don't miss out. All you got to do is subscribe, notification bell, boom, hit the like button as we climb to 10,000 subs. Now, first and foremost, we got to go into the good, and that is one of the biggest silver linings of this game was Kayshon bring that booty, BTB, or as my guy Ray likes to say in the comments all the time, booty call, baby. Booty call. Everyone's like, what is this guy talking about? I have my kids around. It's a joke. I'm sorry. Regardless, beside the point, Kayshon Boutte, again, months ago, a lot of people said trade candidate. A lot of people were trying to make that rumor into reality. It did not happen. It did not stick. Yesterday, he went 6 of 8 for 103 yards, led wide receivers in all snaps. Great separation for Kayshon Boutte. He had a lot of comeback routes. A lot of his receptions were 10 plus yards down the field. And as well, his catches were made at the strong point. Multiple catches. He had a defender draped over him. He was able to make the catch. Incredibly impressive play by Kayshon Boutte. Again, a lot of people were saying this wide receiver room, not ideal. Again, there's still things that need to be worked on. I'm not saying there's not. The Pop Douglas drop, if there was a moment where I literally was just like, oh, that one hurt. That it was right in his hands, thinking a little too ahead of the throw. But regardless, he ended up getting a touchdown. But that's beside the point. Kayshon Boutte has a lot of potential. We saw that at the end of last year, and we need to continue to see that. Kayshon Boutte has a good connection, good rapport with Drake May. This combo should only flourish, as well as other combinations. If you look at the stat sheet, he had multiple throws to Hunter Henry, leading receiver last year on the team. Kayshon Boutte, Stefon Diggs. So a handful of names right there where, hey, I believe they all had 5+ receptions. So again, spreading the ball out. There's multiple guys that had 1-2 receptions. It was great. Oddly enough, Pop Douglas had 2 receptions, -1 yards, and a touchdown. That's kind of wild to say. But silver lining right here, Kayshon Boutte, a lot of potential in him. What do you think? Comment below. But I was very impressed. Would have loved to see him get into the end zone. But I think this is only going to get better for the Patriots. And that's one of the silver linings I want to lead with. One of the good signs for this Patriots team, especially a Patriots team that had a lot of questions at wide receiver when it comes to durability. We look at Stefon Diggs. We look at experience. A lot of younger guys in this wide receiver room. And so Kayshon Boutte, guy means business. Love to hear from you. What do you guys think? Next up, other good things for the Patriots, and I don't know why. It's kind of depressing. I have another little bullet right there, but I didn't put anything. I promise I had something. I just didn't put it. But jumping back to offense, we're going to start from the bottom, work our way up. Stefon Diggs, 6 of 7, 57 yards. I don't think a lot of people fully grasp their mind around this, but last October, the man tore his ACL with the Houston Texans. And now he is playing 100% in a football game, in a professional football game. Incredibly impressive on Stefon Diggs. 6 of 7, 57 yards. Would love to see him more, but again, it was good to see him get 7 targets and catch almost all of those. So that was great to see. And he had some big catches in this game. And again, just like Kayshon Boutte, I think it's only going to get better for Stefon Diggs and Drake May. We continue. Harold Landry III, the big guy out of Tennessee, a guy that a lot of people said, listen, I think he's overpaid. There was other big names, all these stuff. The man came out and wanted to prove all the haters wrong. 2.5 sacks, multiple tackles for losses, multiple quarterback hurries, great presence off the edge. This was needed for this defense. And again, when we get into it, I'm very high on this defense for the Patriots. Yes, there was some mistakes made. Yes, there's some young talent. We also have to understand Christian Gonzalez was not out there. So again, we have to take certain things with grains of salt. But when we look at it, Landry dominated, did great, did really good. Kayshon, I believe he had a half a sack out there. I can't remember the correct box score. But then as well, Jalen Hawkins, a player that a lot of people came out and said, hey, listen, they got Kyle Duggar, they got Jabril Peppers. Listen, neither of them are starting. One of them's not on the team anymore. So Hawkins really had to step it up. Man got a big interception early on in the game, as well as a great sack, which was awesome when you watch it. They thought he was up in coverage. Boom, he ends up going in for the sack. I believe it was Spillane who ended up covering his guy. But it was fun to watch. It was super, super fun to watch. And I think it was, he had some pass breakups as well. But again, I think a lot of times when we look at a loss, it becomes doom and gloom, and we look down the road and we say, gosh, this is going to be tough. And yeah, there's some tough games, 100%. But there's some games that are incredibly winnable, especially if we can build off the good that we have right here. I think that's the most important thing. When you look at just the negative and drive that down, and then especially I hate one of my biggest pet peeves, and comment below biggest pet peeves when you watch football. But there's this guy I'm in a text group with, and we'll be watching a game. Obviously, he's down in Florida. I'm here, but he's a part of this 10-person group, 10-friend group. And he shoots a text, one bad play, and he goes, yep, no surprise. And I'm like, literally, he takes it like mistakes are going to happen. You want to limit the mistakes, obviously. But it is one of my biggest pet peeves where it's like you see one thing, and that means bada boom, bada bing. It means it for everything, the whole thing, the holistic picture, And so it's like, it's like we were talking about Arch Manning the other day. If you watch that episode, I said, you're like, why the heck are you talking about Arch Manning on a Patriots channel? It's beside the point. But anyways, there was this video circulated of him of a really bad throw he made, and everyone was judging him off that one throw. Come on, that's not a good way to judge someone. Anyways, so beside the point, I think there's a lot we can build off, and there's other great things too. Borregales, though he missed that first field goal, made all of his other ones. Offensive line at times definitely shaky, but other times they held their own, which was pretty solid. And remember, you have one side that left side that is rookies right there. So you have Wilson and you have Campbell. So again, comment below. What do you think? The good. What are some things maybe I didn't even mention, but would love to hear from you. Next up, the downhill. And this, I think this episode, this is one of the most important things we really need to talk about. The downhill in my mind really started after the Drake May interception. We'll get to that in a second. But what I really want to focus on, jump into when we talk about the negative, kind of the rough that needs to be fixed, that needs to be addressed, is the Patriots got the ball 11 times. They had 11 drives, 11 opportunities. 4 of 11 of those were 3 and out, and then 7 of 11 were 6 plays or less. So, not ideal. They went to the red zone 3 times, capitalized once with that touchdown to Pop Douglas, and then we get to the May interception. Again, not ideal. But from there, it went incredibly downhill. And was not ideal. After that interception, they had 2 drives that third quarter that both were 3 and out. And then they go into the fourth quarter, and those drives, the next 2 drives in the fourth quarter were resulted in punts. So the next 4 drives after that interception were all punts. And then the last drive, of course, was the field goal from Borregales. But that right there, that mishap, it was a good drive going by May. They had some positive things going for them, and then there was pressure off that right side. I believe it was off he had to step up into the pocket. I think Will Campbell kind of let off his defender, that edge rusher, and they got the sack. I believe that is the play I'm thinking of. But the line did not look great. There was pressure coming in from the right. They were stepping up from the right. Will Campbell kind of let up on his defender, and then boom, it was that was a sack I'm thinking of. But there was some sort of pressure where it was thrown. I believe it was off the right side. I think it was off Nwenu. And he ends up throwing that ball, it picked, it sailed, was not ideal. But anyways, that was the downhill, and it was not ideal. And from that, what we can see is we need to, any football team, you got to capitalize in the red zone. You got to capitalize in the red zone. As well, I think one of the other big things is the O-line, that push of the O-line, helping to create more space for the rushing attack. I think I almost felt like Drake May had 46 passing attempts. I feel like they gave up on the rushing attack pretty quick. Again, they went into halftime with the lead. And then the interception happened and things went downhill. And so I feel like it needs to be more balanced. Again, a lot of people I think are going to say, well, they couldn't get anything going off the rush. Sure. I'm not going to disagree at times with that. But again, you still got to establish the rushing attack. Travion Henderson showed a lot of promise in different areas, and I'm excited to watch him. And again, he had more rushing yards than Ramondre Stevenson. But I feel like some of the biggest areas of improvement are still that offensive line that we struggled with last year, and then getting a solid run game going. I think those are two of the biggest things that are going to help, because what is awful is when, a lot of times you go 3 and out. The issue is, you run the ball, you get nothing on it, and then the next play, maybe you get a couple yards, and so then you're looking at a 3rd and long or 3rd and converting those 3rd downs are not always ideal. I believe the Patriots were 4 of 14. That might have been the Raiders, something like that. But again, not ideal when it came to converting on 3rd down. So an area that definitely needs to be fixed. I think some of the play calling was great. Some really good play calling. I especially like the little, it almost looked like they were going to do the tush push on that. Was it the 4th and short right there, or was 3rd and short? One of the two. And they did the little outside run to Travion Henderson. I loved that play. They were offsides on that, but regardless, it was a super fun play. But you look at this, and these are the areas. As well, we look at the defense. Okay, so some of the areas, again, converting in the red zone, trying to get the run game established. Big areas. But then we look at defense. Areas of improvement, yes. And we're going to talk about the secondary in a second. But again, they only let up 20 points, 56 rushing yards. Genty himself had 19 carries, averaged 2 yards, which is crazy. They had 4 sacks, an interception, and the Raiders literally scored one. They were 1 for 1 in the red zone. Besides that, the other touchdown they had, they were at I believe the 26, something like that. And so the defense did not have a bad day. And the offense at times had it was very up and down for them. But the biggest issue for the defense was the secondary. Giving up 362 passing yards was not ideal. You could tell Christian Gonzalez was missed. Again, there was some great moments, and there were some other moments that were incredibly frustrating to watch, especially as a fan. So again, comment below. What are your thoughts? What are the biggest needs? What are the biggest issues on this team? Again, I would tell you on the offensive side of the ball, it's still that O-line. It's still establishing a run game. I think those are two of the biggest things. And then as well on the defense, I think Christian Gonzalez was one of the biggest crutches for them that they were missing. And as well, you could see some of the youth when you talk about, Craig Woodson as a safety in the secondary. And obviously they had an issue with Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is the man, is a tight end, but is as agile as a wide receiver. It's very impressive to see him play. And so moving forward, those are the biggest needs I see for this team. And Mike Vrabel has even said it's going to get better. So the question becomes, in Miami, playing Miami next, I'm going to make a video on that. I'm feeling very optimistic on that, and I hope you guys would too, especially after their game. But what are your thoughts? What areas, what needs do you think are the biggest needs, especially from this game, that they need to work on? Comment below. Would love to hear from you. Again, tough. Always sucks to talk about a loss, but got to talk about them. What are your thoughts? Comment below. Kayshon, Boutte, Stefon Diggs, Jalen Hawkins, Harold Landry III, whatever the heck you want to talk about, comment below. But before you do, comment something good, something positive before you say something negative. There we go. That's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to get the ball rolling. So anyways, hit that sub button on the way out. We'll talk later. Peace.